Hello everybody. So today we are going to be talking about suprasegmental features. So let's get started. There are four main functions of segmental features. One is focusing function, two is attitudinal function, three is grammatical function, four is discourse function. I'm going to talk about them briefly in detail in the next few pages. So let's get started. Focusing function. So what is focusing function? We can actually use this to focus on or emphasize certain parts of the utterance. For instance, we can highlight a word by pronouncing it louder with greater effort. This suprasegmental feature is called stress. This can also be used to contrast a word with another word. Attitudinal function. We use this to convey certain emotions like excitement, boredom, suspense, or anger by delivering our speech in a slow or fast rate. And this suprasegmental feature is called tempo. Grammatical function. So we can provide grammatical information by varying our pitch, like our voice. This use of pitch is known as intonation. For example, when we lower our pitch, like at the end of a sentence, we actually make a statement like 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 equals 4. And when we raise our pitch at the end of a sentence, we actually, most of the time, we ask a question. For example, did you go to school? As you can hear, I raised my pitch at the end of the sentence, and this is obviously a question. So discourse function. This can help organize the structure of conversations by indicating that the speaker is finished or that there's more to come. If we want to indicate that the sentence is finished, we can use this suprasegmental feature, and which is called pausing. We actually pause between sentences to make it obvious that the sentence is finished, and we get to the other sentence to talk about it. Stress. English is a stress time language. This means within a word at regular intervals. Some syllables are stressed, whereas other syllables do not receive any stress. For example, let's try it together and try to pronounce it with me. Consider participants particularly. You can actually hear the syllables that I stressed there. Consider participants particularly. But there are some other languages that are not like syllable time, meaning all syllables receive more or less equal stress. For example, some languages pronounce the word Chicago like Chicago, or the word animal like animal. So here's a comment that I left in the site, and I guess the site was asking me whether or not my own native language is syllable time. So I answered it in the comment section. So let's read it out loud. Turkish is a syllable time language, and we don't necessarily stress particular syllables in a word. Instead, we just stress every word the same way. And I believe this is part of the reason why people who are learning Turkish struggle a lot to be able to pronounce certain words naturally in Turkish. So if you've ever heard like native English speakers learn Turkish, or whenever they speak Turkish, they no matter what they do, they can't really pronounce the words naturally like we pronounce in Turkish. Different sentence stress. So different languages highlight words differently. For example, Spanish people lengthen important words instead of stressing them. Indian people who speak English, like Indian English speakers, raise their pitch for emphasis, and you might have actually come across this quite a bit. Turkish people stress WH words like where are you going? Yes, in Turkish we do it a lot. Japanese and Thai do not use intonation to highlight new information. Instead, they rely on certain adverbs and particles. Contrastive stress. French uses a grammatical construction to convey a contrast. For example, like instead of saying I went to the baker, they just say no, it is to the baker that I went, which sounds quite it's not silly actually, but like in English we don't necessarily like convey what we want to say this way unless we want to emphasize it. Italians use word order to convey a contrast. Example, at 9 the train arrives rather than saying the train arrives at 9. Analyzing and practicing intonation. So you can see the dots here, and there are also lines in the next page, as you can see. These are to kind of like, they represent the our pitch here, okay? So you can actually, conceptualize it that way. Syllables are stressed in a higher or lower pitch in certain parts of speech to convey whatever feeling it is we want to convey. Mid-level pattern. So let's get into it. Mid-level pattern. In this pattern, we just say the sentence as is. Example, we will start again in half an hour. As you can see, the pitch is constant here. And you can see the dots here. The pitch is constant. Rise fall pattern. Your pitch goes up a bit and then falls, and it results in a more authoritative and argumentative sound. Example, is true because I say so. As you can see, my pitch rises then falls, and it sounds more authoritative or argumentative. It's also possible to use this when forming a response. For example, 2 plus 2 equals 5. Low rise pattern. You start low and then you go up. This is used when forming questions. For example, do you? And it can also be used when we want to convey you don't really believe the speaker. For example, oh really? Or oh yeah? Linking. In English, one word ends in a consonant sound and the next word begins in a vowel sound. Two sounds are linked together without a pause in between them. For example, as you can see, I highlighted those parts so you can actually see it more clearly. He's holding an egg. As you can see, we pronounce those two words, an egg, like they're just one word. He's holding an egg. It's not an egg, it's an egg. I used to believe in fairy tales, but not anymore. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. Like one word. I had to give up jogging. He had it in his pocket. It's not had it. It's had it. It just flows. It sounds more fluent. Self-reflection. So this is actually a comment that I left in the site. So let's read it out loud. So it was asking me what I learned throughout this course, and I answered it. This course helped me to actually be aware of the things that I do unconsciously while speaking, such as stressing the words when I want to draw the attention of the audience more at certain points, or rise fall pattern, or linking sounds together. It is a very useful course to actually deep dive into how the English language functions and what type of habits native speakers have while speaking their own language. Yes, the one thing that caught my attention is that while I was studying this course, most of the time I just found out that I was doing these things unconsciously. I was just learning about it and I was just becoming more and more conscious about these new things, and it was very fruitful and interesting to me. So thank you so much for listening to my presentation.